This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. This time, not only Su Donha, but even Ren Guangjuan couldn't help but shout Luo Ying, Zhang Chong, why have you two come? This is a matter between the Empyrean One Pavilion and Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce. Are you going to cause a rift in the merchant union? He was extremely shocked. With their status, the two of them were directly representing the Four Extremes sect and Money sect. This made him feel that things were not as simple as they seemed. Humph. Before the two could answer, Yunxiao snorted coldly and said, "Old man, since you know this is between us and Empyrean One Pavilion, why did you Myriad Treasures store interfere? And brother Feiyu, when you promised that someone would try to harm me, you were the first one to step out and teach that person a lesson. Now, you're actually ganging up with others to deal with me. It seems that our old friendship in Yufeng City is no longer there, and we can't have fun together anymore." Li Feiyu's forehead was covered in sweat as he replied in embarrassment, "Young Master Yun's words are a little biased. I, Li Feiyu, am a fair man. You promised me that if anyone bullies young Master Yun, I'll be the first one to stand up for them, but now you're the one bullying others." Yunxiao's face was calm as he said coldly, "What's there to be afraid of when you say you're strong? Fortunately, I was able to see your face, as well as the face of the entire 10,000 Treasures building, in this difficult time. Fortunately, not everyone in the Merchant Union is a bully. The Four Extremes sect and the Money sect are righteous and willing to give up their personal interests to fight against you clowns for the sake of the internal harmony and stability of the Merchant Union." His words were spoken slowly and with a strong sense of righteousness. He said loudly, "The heaven and earth are in the right position, the righteous chi of heaven and earth will exist forever." Everyone's mouth was wide open, and they were all stunned. Even Luo Ying and Zhang Chong frowned, wondering if they were that high and mighty. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that it was indeed a vast and mighty universe. All of a sudden, he straightened his back even more, and his face was filled with the look of punishing evil and promoting righteousness. Li Feiyu gulped. He found that Yunxiao's eloquence was even stronger than his mysterious strength, and he did not know how to respond at all. After Luo Ying appeared, Su Donha also gradually calmed down. She realized that the situation today was completely out of her control and was developing in the worst direction. The Four Extremes sect, the Money sect, and the Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce already represented 3 of the 7 magnates. Unless he pulled in the other 2, he would not be able to compete with them, not to mention that there was also the unknown Black Iron City. Black Iron City was an existence that could rival the entire Chamber of Commerce alliance and the 7 super forces. Su Donha's heart suddenly turned cold and cold. As one of the 4 prodigies of the North region, I didn't expect young Master Li to be such a person. It's quite disappointing. The space near Tianyuan Trading Company distorted, and a large group of people appeared. With Qian Wudi as the leader, they were all members of the Money sect. There were 2 martial supreme powerhouses among them, and many martial supremes were present. As soon as they appeared, they did not hide their auras at all. The surrounding space was fluctuating under that powerful martial essence. Qian Wudi's body flickered with battle intent as he stared at Li Feiyu with a provocative look in his eyes. Young Master Li is one of the 4 greats of the North region, so of course he's different from US small fries. We only know that we must keep our word, but young Master Li knows how to be flexible with his words, and can beat you on either side. On the other side, a group of people also slowly emerged. Tang Exan also came with many masters of the Four Extremes sect. There was a mocking look on her face, and she smiled indifferently. Money Gang, Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce, and Four Extremes sect stood in a row, as if they were going to swallow up the Empyrean One Pavilion. After the 2 of them spoke, the whole area became quiet. This shocking reversal of the situation made it difficult for everyone to adapt. They only felt that it was too dramatic. After all, Ding Ling was the master of Tianyuan Trading Company. Although Yunxiao was in charge of everything, she was still the acting president. At this moment, as the master, she slowly stepped out of the ranks and said to the 2 pairs of people with gratitude, "Ling thanks the 2 young masters for your help. I will remember today's favor in my heart." Tang Xian squinted her eyes and smiled. You're too kind, Miss Ling. Suppressing the evil forces, promoting the righteousness of heaven and earth, and maintaining the unity and stability within the merchant union is the duty of our generation, and we can't refuse. Everyone's face was dark. From Yunxiao's self-righteous dominance in the aspect of Taoism, the struggle for interests between the two factions had suddenly turned into a contest of justice and evil, a struggle of unity and destruction. The people of Empyrean One Pavilion and Myriad Treasure Store were so angry that they were screaming, but they couldn't win the argument with words, and they couldn't fight now, so their faces were dark and their eyes were spitting fire. The anger and unwillingness in Su Donha's heart slowly calmed down. She said coldly, Luo Ying, Zhang Chong, the two of you won't be like these juniors and use vicious words, right? I hope the two of you can make your stand clear. What's going on today? Are you tied to Tianyuan Trading Company? They even broke the merchant union and started a war with each other. Luo Ying and Zhang Chong both frowned. They didn't dare to speak carelessly about matters that represented their stance. Young Master Wudi is the one in charge today. I'm just following him. As for the whole story, you can ask my young master. Luo Ying also nodded. Similarly, the person in charge of the Four Extremes sect today is young Master Tang Xian. Elder Su, you can ask him. After the two of them finished speaking, they turned their heads away and looked up at the sky coldly. They didn't want to say anything more to avoid making mistakes. Su Donha was trembling with anger. With his status, Qian Wudi and Tang Xian were not qualified to talk to him directly, but the situation was pressing. She had no choice but to pull her face down and look at Qian Wudi and Tang Xian. Cough cough. Tang Xian coughed heavily and said, we're just promoting righteousness. We'll follow young Master Yun's orders. That's right. Qian Wudi nodded and said with a smile, I'm also following Li Yunxiao's lead. You. Su Donha's originally suppressed anger was once again ignited. At this moment, she really had the urge to perish together with these people. But with Luo Ying's heaven-suppressing pagoda here, even if he wanted to perish together, he might not be able to do so. Li Feiyu's face was filled with bitterness. It was obviously not appropriate for Su Donha to talk to Yunxiao directly. Since Myriad Treasure's Tower and Empyrean One Pavilion had come together, it was not appropriate for him to just sit and watch the show. Young Master Yun, today's matter has a lot of implications. I didn't expect that the Four Extremes sect and the Money sect would be involved as well. It's no longer appropriate to fight now. Didn't you say you wanted to maintain the internal stability and unity of the merchant union? I don't deserve the title Young Master Yun, Yunxiao said coldly. You can just call me Li Yunxiao. To be honest, I really don't want to know you. You mean you didn't expect the Four Extremes sect and Money gang to help me and thought that Tianyuan Trading Company was doomed, so you went back on your word and hit us when we were down. If you had done that earlier, you would have kept your word and continued to act tough. I can only say, to people like you. Li Feiyu's face turned red with embarrassment. He was really innocent, and he had been shot while lying down. The other day, he had only thought of keeping Yunxiao here, and he had casually said that Songyayang City was in danger, but he had been caught by the other party. At this moment, Yunxiao was approaching him step by step, and he was almost going to be charged with the crime of going back on his words. If this news spread out, it would be a great blow to his reputation. But, because he was no match for the other party in eloquence, he could only give in and say, there are too many misunderstandings in this matter. Feiyu really doesn't think that way. I will definitely give young Master Yun a satisfactory explanation for our matter in the future. Let's focus on the general situation of the merchant union today. There was a hint of bitterness in his eyes, as if he was pleading. Yunxiao snorted. He had naturally understood the meaning behind Li Feiyu's words, but he did not know how much the satisfactory explanation was worth. Well, our matter is a private one, after all, so we'll talk about it another day. However, if young Master Li is using this as a delaying tactic, I will definitely reveal young Master Li and Myriad Treasure Store's true colors to the world. Let's talk about the business alliance today. Li Feiyu and Ren Guangjuan both understood the threat in his words. He meant that if he was not satisfied with the satisfactory explanation, Li Feiyu and Myriad Treasure Store would be in trouble. Ren Guangjuan felt dizzy. For so many years, no one had ever dared to threaten Myriad Treasure Store. Today, they were threatened by a mere martial emperor. He suddenly felt that he had learned something new, or had the times changed? Both Tang Xian and Xian Wudi were overjoyed, knowing that Myriad Treasure Store was going to pay a big price this time. It was impossible for them to escape unscathed after being involved with the devil, Yun Xiao. Li Feiyu had suffered a secret loss, but he could not say it out loud, so he could only swallow it. But he also had a certain understanding of Yun Xiao's character, and he knew that the other party was already being magnanimous. Otherwise, he would be branded as a liar, and an internal war would be triggered in the merchant union, which would be truly terrible. He sorted out his feelings, and then said seriously, originally, Tianyuan Trading Company and Tiani Pavilion had no grudges. It was just a small misunderstanding that caused friction and intensified, which led to today's situation. In my humble opinion, why don't we let go of our past grudges and stop the war? How about we wait until the martial arts and technique competition a few days later to decide who is better? Tianyuan Trading Company never provokes people first, Yun Xiao said. I have no objection to this opinion. But, I wonder if the culprit, Tiani Pavilion, is willing to do it. Tianyuan Trading Company is going too far. Su Donhe said angrily. He actually said we're the main culprits. You can do the rest, but you killed an elder of my Empyrean One Pavilion. You must give me an explanation. It didn't matter how many of the other minions died, but the elders were the foundation of the Chamber of Commerce, and their absolute combat power lay in them. The loss of any one of them would touch the root and be difficult to bear. Today's matter was directed by Su Donhe. If she couldn't give an explanation, she wouldn't be able to explain it to the Heavenly One Pavilion's sect master. Looking at the Empyrean One Pavilion's elder's death and Su Donhe's flustered and exasperated look, the rest of the people from the Chamber of Commerce were all smiling and gloating. Even 10,000 Treasures Tower was secretly happy. They were also happy to see that they could weaken the strength of the other core 4 alliances. Explanation? Yun Xiao said contemptuously. He could only blame himself for not being skilled enough and dying without leaving any residue behind. Otherwise, if an arm or a leg is left, you can still bring it back to revere it. Su Donhe's face was as gloomy as water. She gritted her teeth and said, I'm not going to argue with you. If you don't give me an explanation today, my Empyrean One Pavilion will die with you. A murderous aura suddenly gushed out of his body, filling the surroundings with a cold air. The surrounding martial artists could not help but clench their teeth. Especially the warriors of Empyrean One Pavilion and the affiliated forces, each of their faces looked even uglier than a pig's liver. They didn't want to die together. They were fighting so hard just now because they thought they could win, but now, they didn't even dare to fight. The 3 martial sovereigns from Luochu Chamber of Commerce had the ugliest expressions on their faces. This time, their hearts were really cold, and they seemed to have no way out. The underlings of Luochu Chamber of Commerce who were still standing inside Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce looked at the 3 of them with gloating eyes, waiting to see their end. Li Feiyu saw that Su Donhe's attitude was so firm, and he also didn't know what to do. Luo Ying suddenly said, Elder Su, I think we should do this. If we, the old fogies, were to take action, the impact and repercussions would be too great. It would be better to let the younger generation compete on their own. How about we bring forward the martial arts contest to resolve the grudges between our 2 sects? Bring forward the martial duel? Everyone's pupils contracted, but after some thought, this was indeed a good idea. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome if an expert of Su Donhe's level were to act ruthlessly. This was especially true for the people from the 4 Extreme sect and Money sect. They only wanted to help Tianyuan Trading Company survive this disaster and did not want to become enemies with the Empyrean One Pavilion. I think this method will work. There's no need to bring all the martial arts competitions forward, Ren Guangxin said slowly. All the martial arts competitions that want to settle their grudges are held today. The loser will immediately leave Songyue City with his men and will not be able to participate in the double meeting in a few days. Luo Ying frowned and said, "This doesn't seem to be appropriate. After all, the double gathering is a battle of technique and martial arts. Why don't the losing party admit defeat and directly treat it as a failure in the martial arts competition a few days later? This will be fair." Ren Guangyuan glared at Luo Ying resentfully. What he said just now was to directly kick either Tianyi Pavilion or Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce out of the competition as a member of the board of directors. This way, the 7 giants could be reduced to 6, which was in line with the interests of Myriad Treasures store. How could Luo Ying not understand Ren Guanggun's meaning? However, 10,000 Treasures Tower was powerful, and the other giants still had to weaken its power as much as possible. Therefore, it was still advantageous for them to keep the 7 spots. Brother Luo's words make sense, I also agree. Zhang Chong also said with a smile. Su Donha's face turned cold and she snorted, since everyone has agreed, Empyrean 1 Pavilion naturally won't object. If the Empyrean 1 Pavilion loses, I'll leave immediately and never mention the death of Elder Chiu again. But if Tianyuan Trading Company loses, what should we do? Her eyes fell on Ding Ling, and she began to question her. After all, Mo Xiaochuan was the one who had killed Elder Chiu. Mo Xiaochuan was from Black Iron City. Even if Mo Xiaochuan was handed over to her, it would not be easy for her to deal with him. This was a real headache. Ding Ling shivered under her intense gaze, and she quickly hid behind Yun Xiao. That's easy, Yun Xiao chuckled. He understood Su Donha's concerns, so he pointed at Mo Xiaochuan and said, "If we lose, I'll behead Elder Chiu's murderer and give you his head. In case the Empyrean 1 Pavilion is afraid of the Black Iron City's revenge, we'll be the villains." What? Everyone trembled. Yun Xiao's words were obviously a strong confidence. They would not lose. Other than Xian Wudi, who believed in his strength, everyone else was suspicious. Although the Marshal Supreme who had used the profound artifact cube earlier had died in Yun Xiao's hands, the whole situation at that time was too shocking, so no one had seen the specific situation. They all thought that the Martial Emperor of Tianyuan Trading Company had secretly made a move. Otherwise, how could the Marshal Supreme have died so easily? Mo Xiaochuan's face darkened as he said awkwardly, "Yun. Young Master Yun, you're selling me off just like that? If really lose, then wouldn't I be a mayfly?" "What are you worried about?" young Emperor Hao Lian laughed. "Don't you think that young Master Yun's loss is even more unbelievable than your head being cut off?" "That's true," Mo Xiaochuan said awkwardly. But it still feels weird. Why don't we bet your head on it?" "Don't try to act innocent when you've already gotten the upper hand," young Emperor Hao Lian snorted. "How much is your head worth? It's already a great honor to be able to be young Master Yun's bet. You must be secretly happy now, right? And you're still pretending to be innocent." The casual conversation between the two left everyone speechless, but it was extremely heavy in the ears of the people from Empyrean 1 Pavilion. Su Donha said coldly, "Good. A gentleman's words were true. The big shots of the Merchant Union were all here, so he had better not go back on his word when he lost. You will fight this battle. You can only win, you cannot lose." When Su Donha said this name, the heavy feeling in her heart was swept away. It was as if she had regained the prestige and aura of the great elder of the Empyrean 1 Pavilion. This name brought her incomparable confidence. Everyone's heart trembled slightly, and all their eyes fell on a woman in green behind Su Donha. Especially Qian Wudi and the rest of the younger generation, their expressions were even more solemn. The green shadow swayed, and the crowd only felt a faint fragrance. Then, they saw the graceful figure step out of the ranks and slowly walk forward. Even though Liang Yui did not have Shui Luoyan's or Ding Ling's devastatingly beautiful looks, she was still slender and elegant. Her face was like a peach blossom, but the cold aura around her body made people not dare to have any desecration. "Great Elder, don't worry. I will not fail you." Her words were clear and melodious, making people feel very comfortable. No one would doubt the confidence and strength contained in the words, "I did not fail my mission." Su Donha's mood was slightly better. There's no need to stay behind. Kill if you can, she said. Yes. Liang Yui nodded in response. When she raised her head again, the clarity in her eyes had disappeared and was replaced by a sharp, knife-like glint. It was as if anyone within 3 feet of her could be pierced by the light. Su Donha looked at Tianyuan Trading Company and snorted coldly. Since the martial arts competition has been brought forward, who will you send? Will you, Ding Ling, fight on your own, or will you send this inexplicable Li Yunxiao? Of course, it's me, Yunxiao said with a smile. I'm the one. If we let the acting president fight, wouldn't it raise your status? Liang Yui's eyes flickered with a saber light as she sized up Yunxiao and said, if it's you, then there's meaning to this battle. If it was Ding Ling, there would be no need to fight. However, only the rising talents of the Chamber of Commerce are qualified to participate in the martial arts competition. I heard that you're the city lord of Yanwu in the southern region. I wonder what qualifications you have to represent Tianyuan Chamber of Commerce in the competition. That's right. Li Yunxiao, you are not qualified to fight me. Su Donha also suddenly reacted and shouted coldly, if people outside the merchant union can fight at will, then we can all go and ask for outside help. There's no need to fight in martial arts. Luo Ying also frowned and said, Li Yunxiao, are you from Tianyuan Trading Company? Otherwise, you'll be breaking the rules, and you can only let Ding Ling do it herself or send someone from the Chamber of Commerce. Ding Ling seemed to have been prepared for this situation. She shouted, Li Yunxiao is an honorary elder hired by Tianyuan Trading Company. Su Donha sneered and said, Honorary elder? Isn't it too much of a joke to use this job to cheat a child? The people from Money Sect and 4 Extreme Sect also frowned. Honorary elders could be appointed at will, but official elders were different. They were completely a part of the Chamber of Commerce. Ding Ling also intended to make Yunxiao an official elder, but considering his peerless status and his status as the city lord of Yanwu, she did not dare to give him the position of elder casually, for fear that he would be unhappy. Liang Yui chuckled and said, Honorary elder, you're indeed taking this too lightly. Yunxiao is the city lord of Yanwu. How can he be an elder of the merchant union? Unless you want to, she said with a smile in her eyes, unless you marry Ding Ling and become the son-in-law of Tianyuan Trading Company, which is in line with the rules. Ding Ling's delicate body trembled, and her cheeks blushed in embarrassment. She lowered her head to the bottom of her neck and could not raise her head at all. She had thought about Liang Yui's words before, but their identities were too different, and she could not figure out Yunxiao's mind at all. In order to fight on behalf of Tianyuan Trading Company, she had even specially discussed with Old Yu. She had wanted Old Yu to test Yunxiao's words and intentions, but to her surprise, Old Yu's life was in her younger brother's hands. This matter had been put on hold for a long time. He had planned to bring it up before the martial arts and alchemy double competition. However, unexpectedly, the plan had changed, and the martial arts competition had been brought forward. Mo Xiaochuan and Halian Xiao Huang looked at each other with amusement, as if they were waiting for a good show. Yunxiang also felt nervous for no reason, and there was a faint sense of loss in her heart, as if she was afraid of losing something. The rest of the people in the merchant union, no matter which chamber of commerce they were from, all looked upset. It was always a depressing thing for a goddess to be taken away by someone else. Ding Ling and Shui Luoyan were the dream girls of many young talents in the merchant union. Meanwhile, handsome rich men would always be the biggest enemies of losers. How could Yunxiao not know what Ding Ling was thinking? Even he, who had always been indifferent to the common people, felt a little embarrassed. The matter between Ling and I is purely private, so I won't say it to outsiders. As for my identity, since everyone is interested, I'll be direct. Yanwu is a subordinate force of Tianyuan Trading Company in the southern region, and as the city lord of Yanwu, I'm also under the jurisdiction of Tianyuan Trading Company. Are you satisfied with this?